Okay, so let's recap part one. So like most projects start at the sawmill, bring the lumber back, we're gonna mill it up. First, we're gonna start with just the top. The top is gonna be the focal point of this whole project and really the most challenging part. Probably not the hardest, but definitely real challenging. So we're just gonna lay everything out. And there's a video I have attached in the card at the end for part one and two. And there may even be a fourth video on this, just of the entire build all in one video, just shortened. But anyway, so we're just going to glue everything up. We're going to have 4 glue-ups all together. So we're going to glue up 3 sections first, at about close to 12 inches, 11.5 inches, roughly. And then we're going to have 1 major glue-up before we take it over to the drum sander and get that all set up. So right now we're just going to put some cauls, some parallel pipe clamps, and some side clamps here with the cauls to make sure everything stays flat and lays out nice and even. Don't want to over clamp it, but you also don't want to under clamp it here. You want to have nice seams here. Get a good glue joints. Now we're going to do it to the planer. Get it nice and flat. For the most part, it's not perfect until we do the final glue up. But we're still going to sand it down, get everything nice and set up here. And we're going to do 1 more major glue up here before we take it over to my buddy's Logs the Lumber, Earl. And we're going to run it through his drum sander to get it final thickness, which will be about 1 3/4 inches when it's all said and done, and it's going to be 4 feet long exactly by about 33 inches wide, 32.5 inches wide when it's all said and done. So we're going to get this all glued up. We're going to do the same concept, pipe clamps, parallel clamps, and cauls. Going to clean it up here roughly, get as flat as possible, clean up the edges of the track saw. Before we, like I said, we take it over to the drum sander and get that all set up here. So this definitely was a lifesaver for a project like this, something big like this. You want to definitely have a drum sander. I don't have one, so I have to borrow one of my buddies. So now we're just going to finish it up, water pop it. We're going to put some mineral oil on it, wipe it all down. Obviously you saw it, we ran a round over on the edges, on all 4 sides, bottom and top, just to soften the edges. And pretty much the top is pretty much done. So now we're going to start part 2, which is going to be the frame build. This was a real challenging build. It was a fun build. This project in general was a big, long process. But the good news, I had a lot of time for this. So here we're going to start with the legs. Here we're going to laminate the legs. They're going to be about 2 inches thick by about almost 4 inches in width when it's all said and done. So we're going to clamp them up all one time. Make sure you don't put glue in between each set of legs, and let this sit overnight. And here's all the frame pieces here. Now we take the legs out of the clamps. We're going to run through the planer. I'll run all pieces through the router table, put a chamfer on each edge. Then we're going to do a layout. We're going to use more tenon joinery here, and we're going to use the domino here. So we use the domino a lot in this project. So first we do a dry fit, get our final setup, and then we're going to do a final glue up for these tables frames. Which were very challenging because these were very heavy, all maple, and it's a pretty big table, and the legs are so heavy it was hard to really line everything up, as you'll see in a couple minutes. But yeah, we're just going to let everything out. We dry fitted it first to get our final measurements, especially for the center brace pieces, which are going to be a little offset since they go inside the reveal. So here we're just going to use the pipe clamps again, glue everything up, clamp everything up, make sure everything's nice and square. Final assembly was very challenging, so we're going to put some corner brackets in here, as you can see. Now we're going to start with the bottom shelves. We're going to mill these up, clean them up, and run some mineral oil on these also, and we'll install these, and pretty much that's it for part 2. So now we're going to go into part 3, which is going to be the final finishing touches of everything, which is going to be a fairly simple and short part of this video. Here we're going to use our biscuit joiner, put some slots in for our Z-clips. We're going to use them at the top, and take note, we're going to do that on site. That's not going to be part of this video. We're just going to lay, for the final pictures here, you'll see we're just going to lay the top on loose. We're going to deliver this in 2 pieces, and we'll install the top there. Probably won't video that since I don't like videoing people's houses. Not everybody's comfortable with that, depending on their comfort level. If they are comfortable, maybe I will video, but either way. So that's it. So now we're going to use my homemade board butter, which is just mineral oil and beeswax. I cook it up in the pot, and I'm just going to lay this on after mineral oil and just get a nice, clean, soft finish. And then we're going to do this a few times. We're going to do probably 3 or 4 coats of this. We'll do one probably on site too, but we'll do one right before delivery also. So that's it. We're just going to mix this board butter up and wipe it on and get a nice even coat on the top. And get this ready. for the rest of the final touches here. Okay, so now we're going to disassemble all the bottom shelf pieces in the top, and we're going to primer and paint this bottom frame. It's going to be white. So we're going to use a white primer. We're going to do 2 coats, and we're going to sand in between each coat. I'm not really going to video too much of the primer section since it's pretty redundant. I did do a brush on coat at the end after sand in between coats. Just a light brush on just to touch up any spots after doing the second sanding. And then we'll go with painting. So like I said, we're just going to do a light soft sand after each coat of primer and get prepared for paint, so that way you have a good layer for your paint to sit on. So like I said, we're just going to do a quick little brush up with the primer to touch up any spots that I may have over sanded, as you can see here. So it's technically almost 3 coats, but I didn't have to brush up everything, just certain spots where I sanded again, where I just noticed that it wasn't perfect. You want to have, your primer is very important because that's what your paint's going to lay on. So now we're going to paint this. Decided to use a sprayer. I wasn't going to because it's pretty cold. It's not too bad, but sometimes like when it's in the 50s, 40s even, just cleaning these sprayers is a pain. The paint gunking up in them. But it definitely makes quick work of it. So we have 3 coats of paint. I'm sorry, we have 2 coats of paint on. I guess you can count 3. You know, we did touch up some spots. But for the most part, just 2 coats of white paint. And it's cabinet paint, so it's a pretty good quality. So it lays nice. So now we're going to get prepared. We're going to put casters on these. Also take note, this table is pretty tall. This table, when it's all said and done with the top, it's going to be close to 40 inches tall. That's what the client wanted. To me, it's a little overkill, but that's what they wanted, so that's what they get. So we're going to put these casters on. I just got these off Amazon. I think they're like $30 or something like that. They weren't too bad price-wise. So we're going to do a center countersink with a center line drill bit here. Just almost like a cabinet pinhole bit. So we're just going to get our center line of each one of these before we put these screws in. And we're just going to use an impact driver and just screw these in. I like to go in a little bit of an angle when I screw these in sometimes, just so I make sure I don't split anything. Even though you countersink a little bit, you still want to make sure you go in a little bit of an angle, just in case you don't want to split any of this wood, because it's real tight down the bottom. These are about 2 inches wide in diameter, which is the legs are about 2 inches wide. So I don't have a whole lot of room to play with here, so I have to be very careful with impacting these in. Probably could have hand tightened them too, but this definitely makes quicker work of it, and to make sure these things are tight. Okay, so now the casters are on. We're going to lay the bottom shelves in. So we're going to put a couple brad nails in the top. I know this isn't ideal, but I just want to make sure these things stay nice and tight. We're also going to countersink and put some trim head screws down the bottom once we get them in place and lined up. I like to use the brad nails just almost as clamps when I flip this upright, so we can screw these in permanently. But I know it's not the greatest touch. You can see the brad nails if you look real close, but I mean, this is kind of also like a rustic farmhouse type furniture, so it's not the end of the world. And that's how I do a lot of my bottom shelves. I like to use screws and brad nails, just to make sure that everything stays nice and level, and nice and flat with the frame. It's just another way to act as clamps too. So now we're going to, because now we're going to just do a countersink, and we're going to just do some trim head screws, just to mount these bottom shelves permanently. We know everything's nice and even, nice and flat. So now we're just going to screw them in. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, this project is done. This was a fun project, but also a very challenging project. It tested my limitations on my shop, as you can see here with space. My body took a little bit of beating. There was mistakes made, not many, but we had to resolve them, and that's part of woodworking or any trade. You have to be able to overcome any challenges or mistakes. Tested my back, obviously. There were some bloopers here that we had to work through, but the thing is working through them. So when it was all said and done, this project was a fun project. It was a challenging project, like I said, but I loved it. I love doing this. This is fun for me. It's stressful and is as frustrating as these projects could be at times. It's still great. It's still fun. I think it came out very nice. It came out sturdy. This table, the frame came out better than I thought. As a matter of fact, the frame was supposed to be poplar or pine. Since I was painting it, I decided to use all maple since I had some maple left over. I bought extra, so over delivered, under promised. So that's a good thing. The client was happy with that, and it came out very nice, and it was fun. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. If you find any value in it, also let me know. If you see any mistakes, let me know, or things I could do better. Because this is definitely a learning process for me. I'm learning every day. And like I said, thanks for watching.